Hey guys, this is Jonathan Van Arzo with JVA Coaching, talking to you today about step 2 of 4 of setting an effective goal. So now you've decided not to use the scale this time to determine if you've reached your goal. So what are some appropriate measuring tools for your goals? If the why is to build more confidence, then consider giving yourself a subjective rating from a 1 to 10 scale. If the goal is to improve your sport, improve your output in a sport or activity, then set a goal accordingly. So for instance, if you want to improve the strength in your bench press, consider setting your goal to improve your strength or your numbers by 20%, let's say at the end of 12 weeks. The same with if you want to improve your squat weight. Maybe the goal is to run a 5K at a faster time, so maybe it's to finish, maybe your last 5K you ran was you finished in 35 minutes, so maybe this time it's to finish in under 30 minutes. It could be to do another activity. Maybe it's to hike a 14er or do a whitewater rafting trip. Maybe it's to be at a certain weight limit so you can go skydiving. I think the weight limit is 250 to do a tandem skydive, so you have to be, 250 or below to do that. So I've heard that as a goal recently as well. Maybe it's doing a bodybuilding competition if you really want to go far. Going on 3 dates is another one I've heard people do. They want to improve their confidence in themselves, go on 3 dates, put themselves back out there on the market. That can be a popular one. Body composition and circumference measurements can be used as tools for measuring your goals. It can also be used as, I like to use them as checkpoints and seeing how close to your goals we're getting. In other words, maybe the goal isn't like to lose a certain body fat percentage. Maybe that's just a measuring tool to see if we got there. Maybe it's just to help keep us on track. So in other words, like if somebody's body fat percentage is, Joe Schmo's body fat percentage is, let's say 22% to start out with, and he has a goal of, let's say it's running a 10K. Well, reducing that body fat percentage might really serve him, and running that 10K, he's never ran a 10K before, and he wants to be a little bit lighter on his feet and have less pain in his joints, so certainly being lighter would help him, and having less fat would help him. So maybe the checkpoint then on his body fat percentage is in 12 weeks to get him to, let's say, below 17%, which would put him in a nice, healthy average category for men on body fat percentage, body fat composition. So that could be a great measuring tool and great checkpoint for him. So guys, also clothing size can be a really important measuring tool. For instance, if the goal is to wear a very elegant dress for a Christmas party or a wedding gown, that could be something that may represent something far deeper to you than you yet realize. In other words, if you're going to use the scale to measure if you got your goal, consider using clothing size. If that's something you always do, I would recommend you use clothing size instead, because it puts the focus more on how you feel about yourself. It's something that you'll fit into something better. Then again, using something that the scale really just only has meaning on what we place on it. In other words, there's nothing significant about my weight except the significance I place upon that weight. So that's where we get caught up in our heads far too often, is we'll say the scale says I weigh 240 pounds. Well, what does that even mean? Does that mean I'm overweight? I might not be overweight. I might just have a very big frame, or I might just carry a lot of muscle. If you usually do clothing sizes to measure if you got your goal or not, then you might consider doing a rating for yourself or your relationship with yourself. And you can also challenge yourself to an event maybe that you've never done before. So really I want you to take stock and push yourselves a little bit here, guys. When you're setting a goal, set a new goal maybe you've never done before, measure it in a way you've never measured it before, and let's see what kind of success you can create with that. So guys, this is Jonathan Van Arzo with JVA Coaching, reminding you to be, do, give, have.